Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always excited to unearth some hidden gems from history.
Well, get ready because today we're going to explore the fascinating world of Amalia Domingo Soler, a 19th century Spanish writer and activist. She really was incredible.
A name that, honestly, should be way more well-known.
Absolutely. Imagine being a prolific writer, a fierce advocate for women's rights, and accomplishing all of this while dealing with partial blindness throughout her life.
It's remarkable, isn't it? Her story truly highlights the power of resilience and determination.
We're pulling from two sources for this deep dive: Amalia's Wikipedia entry and a biography from a Brazilian Spiritist center.
It's interesting to see the different perspectives these sources offer. One provides a broad overview of her life, while the other delves deeper into her spiritual journey and connection to the Spiritist movement.
Okay, so Amalia's story begins in Seville, Spain, in 1835. And let me tell you, her early life was filled with challenges. She faced family instability, the loss of her mother at a young age, and then this chronic eye condition that affected her vision throughout her life.
Right from the start, she was dealing with some major obstacles, especially considering the limited options available to single women in 19th century Spain.
Absolutely. It makes you wonder how anyone could not only survive, but thrive in those circumstances.
Yeah.
So what were those limited options?
Well, back then, societal pressure pushed women toward two main paths, either joining a convent or entering a marriage of convenience.
Basically giving up their independence and autonomy.
Exactly. But Amalia, she chose a different path. She defied those societal expectations.
She really did. Despite her vision problems and limited resources, she chose freedom and independence. Supported herself through sewing. What determination.
It's a testament to her strong will and her refusal to conform to those narrow societal norms.
Even back then, that independent spirit shines through. It wasn't just about survival. It was about shaping her own destiny.
And that drive to forge her own path becomes even more apparent when she encounters Spiritism in her early 30s.
Ah, Spiritism. This is where things get really interesting. Now, for those who might not be familiar with Spiritism, can you give us a quick overview?
Sure. So Spiritism emerged in the mid-1800s and quickly gained traction, especially among those seeking a more progressive spiritual path. At its core, it emphasizes communication with spirits and the concept of reincarnation.
So it challenged the traditional religious doctrines of the time. What else made it so appealing to people?
Well, it was a belief system that resonated with those who felt disillusioned with traditional religion or yearned for a more personal, direct connection to the spiritual realm.
So it was a movement that empowered individuals to seek their own spiritual truth.
Precisely. And it was particularly appealing to women because it emphasized spiritual equality between men and women.
That's so important, especially in the context of the time.
Absolutely. And its focus on social justice and moral development attracted those seeking a faith aligned with their desire for a better world.
It sounds like it provided a framework for both personal growth and social change. And for Amalia, this wasn't just an intellectual interest. It became a profound source of comfort and guidance in her life.
Absolutely. It offered answers to spiritual questions she'd been grappling with and provided a community of like-minded individuals who supported her.
It's interesting how that sense of community often goes hand in hand with spiritual movements.
It's that sense of belonging, of shared values and aspirations.
And then there's the incredible story of her vision being temporarily restored, which is often recounted in Spiritist circles.
Yes, it's often seen as a pivotal moment in her spiritual journey.
Whether you interpret it literally or metaphorically, it signifies a turning point for Amalia, almost like a symbolic representation of her finding clarity and purpose in Spiritism. What impact do you think that experience had on her life?
In a practical sense, it allowed her to become even more involved in the movement. She began writing for Spiritist magazines and giving public speeches. Imagine a woman doing that in 19th century Spain.
That's incredible. It really highlights the courage it took for her to step into those roles, especially in a society that expected women to remain silent and in the background.
And that courage only grew when she made the decision to move to Barcelona.
Barcelona? Why there? What prompted that move, and how did it influence Amalia's path?
It seems she was drawn to Barcelona's more liberal atmosphere. It was a city where new ideas and social movements were flourishing.
It was a pretty bold move, wasn't it? Leaving behind her established life to venture into the unknown, especially with her vision challenges.
It was. And initially, she did face difficulties adapting to this new environment.
I can imagine. New city, new challenges. But this is where another key figure enters her story, Louis Locke. Can you tell me about him and the role he played in Amalia's life?
Lewis Locke was a fellow Spiritist and advocate for social justice. He recognized Amalia's talent and potential and provided her with support, a place to live, and the space to focus on her writing.
It's amazing how one person's support can make such a difference in another person's life.
Absolutely. And with Locke's backing, Amalia's work truly flourished. Her writing gained power and confidence, and her voice as an advocate for women's rights grew even stronger.
It's like she found her stride in Barcelona, not just geographically, but also in terms of her purpose and her passion. So it wasn't just about surviving in a new city, it was about thriving and making a real impact. What were some of the key issues she was most passionate about?
Amalia was a fierce advocate for education for girls. She demanded equal rights and opportunities for women, challenging those deeply ingrained societal norms that limited their roles. She was truly ahead of her time in her feminist ideals.
It's incredible how she refused to be silenced, even in a society that tried to confine women to the domestic sphere. She was a true trailblazer, paving the way for future generations of women to demand equality and claim their rightful place in society.
Absolutely. And her journey took another exciting turn when she became an editor, further amplifying her voice and impact.
Okay, I'm all ears. Tell me about this new venture. What was the name of the publication and what made it so groundbreaking?
Amalia, together with other like-minded women, founded La Luz del Porvenir, which translates to The Light of the Future. It was a Spiritist weekly in 19th century Spain, written by and for women. Can you imagine?
Wow, a platform for women's voices to be heard, sharing their perspectives, experiences, and ideas in a time when they were largely silenced. That's incredibly powerful. But I'm guessing it didn't come without its challenges, right?
You're absolutely right. The Catholic Church, which held immense power and influence at the time, saw this publication as a direct threat to its authority.
So not only was Amália defying traditional gender roles, but she was also taking on one of the most powerful institutions of her time. What incredible courage. But Amália's activism extended beyond writing and editing. Can you tell me about some of the other social causes she was involved in?
Amalia was deeply committed to improving the lives of those around her. She tirelessly worked to help prisoners, the sick, and those affected by natural disasters. She even played a key role in establishing the Society of Civil Burials.
That's an interesting one. What was the purpose of that organization?
The Society of Civil Burials was formed to ensure individuals who weren't Catholic could be buried with dignity.
That's fascinating. So it was about addressing a practical need within the community, but also about challenging the church's control over societal norms. It's clear that compassion and social justice were at the heart of everything Amália did. But there's another layer to her story that we haven't touched upon yet, a layer that delves into the realm of spiritual guidance.
Exactly. This is where her connection with Father German comes in.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Before we go further, could you paint us a picture of who Father German was and how he fits into the Spiritist belief system?
Well, in Spiritism, spirit guides are seen as these wise and benevolent entities. They offer guidance and support from the spiritual realm, having lived many lifetimes and gained profound wisdom.
Like spiritual mentors, helping us navigate our earthly journey.
Exactly. Think of them as wise companions on our path, offering insights and perspectives that can help us live more fulfilling lives.
So imagine a wise mentor offering guidance from beyond the veil, helping Amália navigate her challenges and discover her purpose. That's a powerful image. And how did this connection actually manifest in Amália's life?
According to our sources, Father German began communicating with Amália through a medium, someone who acts as a bridge between the physical and spiritual realms.
So through this medium, Amália received messages and guidance from Father German. Now, this is where it gets really interesting.
It does. Their communication was profound, full of wisdom that deeply impacted Amália's work and worldview. It wasn't just about everyday matters. Their dialogues explored deep philosophical and moral questions, delving into themes of love, compassion, forgiveness, the importance of living a virtuous life. He even shared insights into the spirit world and the concept of karma.
It's like having access to this ancient wisdom, this guidance from a realm beyond our own. It makes you wonder how those teachings shaped her perspective and influenced her actions.
It's a fascinating question to explore. Let's dive deeper into that and discover how this spiritual connection with Father German impacted both Amália's writing and her activism.
Okay, so we left off with this incredible connection between Amália and Father German. It's like she was receiving guidance from beyond the veil. How did those teachings impact her work?
Well, it's interesting. You can really see those teachings woven throughout Amália's writing and activism. Father German's messages about compassion, about social justice, about moral living, they all resonated deeply with her core values and fueled her desire to make a difference in the world.
It's as if this connection amplified her purpose.
Exactly. Imagine having this constant source of wisdom and inspiration guiding you. It's no wonder she saw her work as a way to spread those teachings, to uplift humanity, to create a more just and compassionate society. She wasn't just writing, she was on a mission.
It's incredible how she was introducing these really profound spiritual concepts to a wider audience while also fighting for social change. For her, it wasn't one or the other. They were all part of the same tapestry.
Absolutely. And she was so fearless in challenging conventional thinking on all fronts, whether through her writing, her public speaking, or her activism. She truly embodied that spirit of breaking down barriers and paving the way for others to follow.
She was a trailblazer, wasn't she? But even with this incredible spiritual connection, she still faced some very real challenges. Earlier, we talked about the loss of Louis Slack, her friend and benefactor, and Ubaldo Pages, the medium who facilitated her communication with Father German. Tell me more about the impact those losses had on Amália.
Losing those two people who were so central to her life, both practically and spiritually, it must have been incredibly difficult for her. Louis provided that essential support, a safe haven for her to create and thrive, while Ubaldo was the bridge to her communication with Father German, which was such a vital part of her spiritual practice.
It's hard to imagine how she navigated those losses. It must have felt like losing a part of herself.
It was undoubtedly a very painful period for her, but what's so striking is that even in the face of such profound loss, Amália persevered. She continued to write, to advocate for the causes she believed in, and to offer comfort and support to those around her.
It speaks volumes about her strength and resilience. She didn't let grief consume her. She channeled it into action. And it makes you wonder, did the connection with Father German continue even after Ubaldo's passing?
According to our sources, yes. It seems that even after Ubaldo was gone, Father German continued to communicate with her. But this time, it was through a new medium.
A new medium. So even though she'd lost Ubaldo, that vital spiritual connection remained open.
It did. But it wasn't an immediate or easy transition. Amália initially approached this new medium with some skepticism, which, when you think about it, makes perfect sense. After losing someone as close as Ubaldo, who was so integral to her spiritual practice, it's understandable that she would be cautious.
Absolutely. It speaks to the depth of trust involved in those kinds of relationships. But what's inspiring is that she remained open to the possibility and eventually came to trust this new medium. And through that trust, the guidance from Father Germain continued.
It's really a testament to her faith, and her willingness to adapt, even in the face of such personal loss and uncertainty. And we can't overlook the role of the Spiritist community during this time. They were incredibly supportive.
It's easy to forget that even the strongest individuals need support, especially during times of grief and transition.
Right. And the Spiritist community really rallied around Amália, They provided care, companionship, and made sure she wasn't isolated as her health declined. It's a beautiful example of how communities can offer solace and strength during life's most challenging moments.
It's a reminder that we're not meant to go through life's trials alone. We need those connections, those people who share our values and can offer comfort and support when we need it most.
And it's in these moments, that we see the true strength of the human spirit. Despite facing so much personal loss and her own declining health, Amália's dedication to her beliefs, her passion for making the world a better place, it never wavered. In fact, it seemed to grow stronger.
It's as if those challenges, rather than breaking her, ignited a deeper fire within her.
Exactly. It's inspiring, isn't it? And so on April 29th, 1909, surrounded by loved ones and her supportive community, Amália Domingo Soler peacefully passed away.
What a beautiful image.
Yeah.
It sounds like she was surrounded by love and support until the very end. It's a reminder that even amidst hardship and loss, there can be peace and a sense of fulfillment. It makes you want to celebrate the impact of a life well lived.
Absolutely. And Amália's legacy extends far beyond her lifetime.
Before we dive into that legacy, though, I think it's important to step back and really understand the world in which she lived. What were the prevailing social norms for women in 19th century Spain? How did the Spiritist movement challenge those norms? I think it's a crucial context for appreciating her achievements.
You're absolutely right. It's easy to forget how different the world was back then, especially for women. You have to remember that 19th century Spain was a time of immense social and political change. The country was going through modernization, industrialization, new ideologies were emerging.
So much is happening.
It was a period of upheaval, and while society was undergoing these massive transformations, the traditional values, particularly when it came to gender roles, remained deeply ingrained.
It's like those old ways of thinking were resistant to change.
Exactly. Women's lives were still largely defined by marriage and motherhood, and their contributions to society were often overlooked or dismissed. Educational opportunities for women were limited, and their voices were rarely heard in public discourse. To speak out, to challenge those norms, took immense courage and determination.
It's incredible to think about all that Amalia accomplished within that environment. To become a writer, an editor, a public speaker, those were bold moves for a woman of her time.
She was a true trailblazer. She was paving the way for future generations of women to have their voices heard and to demand equality. And the Spiritist movement, I think, played a key role in that journey. Well, Spiritism provided a framework that challenged those traditional restrictive norms and embraced this radical idea at the time of spiritual equality between men and women. It offered a community that not only supported Amalia's aspirations, but actively encouraged her to use her talents for the betterment of society.
It's as if the movement provided fertile ground for her unique blend of spirituality and social activism to truly flourish.
Exactly. It's a testament to her character and her passion that she embraced those opportunities so fully. It makes you wonder, would she have achieved all that she did without the support and encouragement of that community? It's a fascinating thought, isn't it?
It is. It speaks to the power of finding your tribe, those people who believe in you and encourage you to reach your full potential.
Absolutely. And it's a reminder that sometimes the most impactful journeys are shaped by a combination of personal resilience, a supportive community, and a willingness to embrace new ideas.
And speaking of impact, let's shift our focus to Amalia's legacy. What are some of her most notable works? How do they continue to influence the world today?
Well, as we've discussed, Memorias del Padre Germán, the book born from her communications with her spirit guide, continues to be studied by those interested in spiritual development. It's quite remarkable how her writing, inspired by those spiritual communications, still resonates with people today.
It's almost as if those messages transcend time, offering insights into morality, ethics, and the human experience that are just as relevant now as they were back then.
Exactly. And then there's her autobiography, Memorias de una Mujer, or Memories of a Woman.
I imagine reading her own words, her personal account of her journey, must be an incredibly powerful experience.
It is. It provides such an intimate glimpse into her life, her struggles, her triumphs, and her unwavering commitment to her ideals.
A real window into the soul of this remarkable woman.
But her contributions extend even beyond those two works. She also wrote countless essays, poems, and short stories, many of which were published in La Luz del Porvenir and other Spiritist publications. She was a true literary powerhouse.
I'm really struck by the sheer volume and diversity of her work. It speaks to her passion for writing and her desire to use her voice in so many different ways. What were some of the themes she explored in her writing?
Amalia's writings covered a wide range of topics, from social justice and women's rights, which were so central to her activism, to spiritual development and the nature of the afterlife, inspired by her spiritist beliefs. It's clear that her commitment to creating a better world extended to all aspects of her work.
It's inspiring how she used her platform to address so many important issues, always with an underlying message of compassion and a vision for a more just and equitable world.
Exactly. Her work continues to inspire those who seek to make a difference, those who believe in the power of words to challenge the status quo and to advocate for positive change.
As we delve deeper into Amalia's legacy, I'd love to hear your personal reflections. What aspects of her story resonate most strongly with you? What's left the biggest impression?
For me, it's her unwavering spirit. The way she transformed personal tragedy into fuel for her activism and her writing is truly remarkable.
It's like those challenges, rather than breaking her, seem to make her stronger and more determined.
Exactly. She didn't let hardship define her. She used those experiences to empower herself and others. It's such a powerful lesson for all of us.
What about you? What stands out to you most about Amalia's story?
For me, it's the depth of her connection with Father Germain, her spirit guide. It makes you think about the possibilities of spiritual guidance and how our beliefs can profoundly shape our lives and our work.
Their relationship adds such a fascinating dimension to her story. It really makes you think about the nature of faith and the idea that we can find support and wisdom from sources beyond the physical realm.
And it's a reminder that those beliefs, that faith, can be a powerful force for good in the world. They can inspire us to act, to speak up, to make a real difference.
Well, as we begin to wrap up this deep dive into Amália Domingo Solar's life, I'd like to leave our listener with a question to ponder. What if you had the chance to sit down with Father Germán yourself? Knowing all that you now know about Amália and the incredible life she led, what one question would you ask him? What insight would you seek from this wise guide who played such a pivotal role in your journey?
That's a great question to consider. It really encourages us to step into Amália's story and think about what wisdom we might glean from her experiences.
Wow, what a question to consider. It really makes you pause and think about the depth of Amália's journey. What would we ask, knowing what we know now?
Right. It's as if we're invited to connect with her story on a deeper level, to tap into that well of wisdom that guided her through those incredible experiences.
Exactly. And that's what I love about these deep dives. They spark our curiosity, they get us thinking, and they encourage us to connect with history in a more personal way. It's not just about learning facts, it's about engaging with the stories of real people who lived, who loved, who struggled, and who ultimately left their mark on the world.
It's a good reminder that those seemingly forgotten figures from the past often have the most incredible stories to tell. And their stories can still resonate with us today, offering insights and inspiration for our own lives.
Like Amália. Her story, though it unfolded over a century ago, still feels so relevant, so alive. It speaks to those universal challenges we face as individuals, the power of finding your community, the strength that comes from believing in something bigger than yourself, and that enduring human desire to make a difference in the world.
And what's particularly striking is how she seamlessly blended her spirituality with her activism. It wasn't one or the other for her. They were intertwined, each aspect fueling the other.
That's such a powerful model for us today, especially in a world that often tries to compartmentalize things. Amália's story reminds us that our beliefs can be a driving force for positive change, that compassion and action can go hand in hand.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that we don't have to choose between our spiritual selves and our desire to make a tangible impact on the world. They can work together, creating a force for good that's greater than the sum of its parts.
I think that's one of the most valuable takeaways from this deep dive. Amália's story empowers us to embrace our own beliefs, to find strength in community, and to use our unique voices to advocate for a more just and compassionate world.
It's like she's passing the torch to us,
Yeah.
encouraging us to continue the work she started, to fight for equality, to embrace compassion, and to never give up on our dreams, no matter how challenging the circumstances.
I love that image of passing the torch. And as we continue on our own journeys, let's all carry a bit of Amália's spirit with us. That fire, that resilience, that unwavering belief in the possibility of a better future.
It's contagious, isn't it? Her story leaves you feeling inspired and ready to take on the world.
Absolutely. So to our listener, we encourage you to explore Amália's work further. Delve into her writings and let her story spark your own journey of discovery.
And as you ponder that question for Father Germán, that question that we posed earlier, remember that the answers we seek are often found not just in the words of others, but also in the depths of our own hearts and minds.
Beautifully put. This has been an incredibly enriching deep dive, and I have a feeling Amália's story will stay with us long after we sign off.
Me too.
Until next time, keep diving deep, keep exploring, and keep those aha moments coming.
Goodbye and happy learning.